I've always wanted to lactate. See, it wasn't even I wanted to have babies. I wanted to be a mother. I always wanted to lactate. Hello, you wonderful people. Welcome back. A couple of things before we get into this episode. One, I want to say thank you to all the people that have actually subscribed, the people that watch the videos, and the people who actually hit the like button, because it really helps the channel grow. So thank you guys a lot. I really appreciate that. The second thing is Rob is right, the guy I normally watch these videos on. He hasn't uploaded the past 2 videos to YouTube. They're both on Rumble. So if you want to watch the originals, you're going to have to head over to Rumble. I suspect this is because the previous 2 videos that I've uploaded, which is 4 of his, contain copyright strikes. So I think they are using copyrighted material purposefully to try and defend criticism from us. If that makes sense. But that aside, let's go.
All right.
David's hitting the basket. Oh, that's all right.
You got him.
You still make.
All right. Hi, I'm Major.
Throwing bricks. I'm sure it used to be coconuts. That has to be satire. That has to be some sort of weird joke that wasn't well received. It has to be.
Rachel Jones, and what pride means to me is celebrating that diversity is our strength as a nation and as an army. Pride means something very special to me as a LGBTQ individual, and it's a chance to show everyone what we have to offer in terms of the diverse skill sets that we bring and the diverse ways of thinking we bring into the team to make everything work better.
The diverse way of thinking, yeah, the mentally unstable way of thinking that you bring to the table. The US Army is already probably the most diverse army in the world. It probably is. Like, let alone the women. If you take women out and look at just the guys, it's probably the most diverse army because America's like a melting pot of cultures. There'll be a US Marine from every racial background, I promise you. Every single one of them. Hoorah. I promise you. That's just madness. It's madness. These people need support, man. It's got nothing to do with diversity. You being mentally unstable and believing that something that is demonstrably false, you believing that, doesn't make you diverse. It makes you unwell. It just does. Like, people with schizophrenia, we don't have to like be nice to those people and not be nice, but like affirm their beliefs. We don't have to do that to them. It wouldn't be a diversity drive to have schizophrenic in offices. That wouldn't make sense, would it? Because it wouldn't be good for the office or the schizophrenics. Now, I'm a straight man. It only takes me a millisecond to identify raw breasts, and there was definitely raw breasts in that clip. This is the thing, it's the sexual stuff. The stormtrooper at the end, fair enough. Like, he's fully clothed. It's not a sexual thing. Stormtroopers are far from sexual. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're all clones. So they're not even reproduced in the normal manner, right? Fair enough, right? But why was there a woman flapping her breasts about? I don't understand why there was love cushions on display. I genuinely don't understand that.
How you eat that dick? 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 How you eat it, 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 eat it. How you eat that dick? Eat it, eat it. Excuse me. Back up. Back up. Back up. Oh. Where the boy is at? Trying to get that snack up in my bag. Oh, Lord, where the boy.
It's just depravity, isn't it? It's just raw, unadulterated depravity. I don't like. How do you eat that dick? Insightful lyrics, my friend.
One of the things I think our Transforming School does really well is our senior transition plans. We work with our seniors to give them resources, access to medical care, especially once they're 18 if they would like to go into medical transition, as well as clothing and gender support plans that they can bring to their employers or new school so that they can continue their transition smoothly. I think it's really cool. We should do this at more schools. Huge shout out to Pack Animal out of Canada. They have provided our school district with over $3,000 worth of binders so that our students are able to come as they are to school and be their most authentic self. It's pretty awesome.
Can I ask?
Their most authentic self being the delusional version they hold in the highest regard inside their own mind. As in, not real. It's madness. It's madness. That's why the series is called this. It is. There's no other way to describe this. It's mass insanity. It's mass insanity. I'm speechless. Let's just move on. I honestly, Jesus.
Ask you about your shirt first of all. Of course. So it says, "Say gay, perform drag, read banned books, protect trans youth, teach all history, show love, and be kind." Can you tell me about the drag? Like, how do you feel about the bans on drag shows and the way that the right wing is trying to say that the drag is inappropriate for kids and is sexualizing kids? Like, what's your answer to that?
I think it's pretty sad. I think drag is a form of art.
I was literally just about to make a joke about. So does that mean that pornography is also art? Anything that is captured through a lens or captured on canvas, if it's captured or if it's a live performance and it's meant to invoke the artist's vision. Like, I could make kicking a puppy art by that definition. That's so fucked up. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If child trans, but parent no like trans, then it's problem for child. Only two solutions, either parent change or child abuse. But parents no like change. This problem, not just for child, for entire LGBT plus community. Because queer people can only happy be when they themselves. Queer people also include child, because child people. Queer people only happy be when queer child also happy is. But queer child not happy. So if parent no change, must third option be? Third option, child say, bye bye poopy parent. Hope you find child that not trans is. Have nice life. Me leave, me go. This called youth liberation. Queer liberation not possible without youth liberation. So start talking.
Through that entire video, I had two thoughts going through my mind. The first thought was, wow, I can actively feel brain cells dying. The second thought was, that was newspeak. Like, that's, if that guy has not read 1984 and he doesn't understand what doublespeak and newspeak is, like, that's what he's doing, albeit a very primitive version of it, but that could be Genesis. Is that how we're all going to speak in the future? To be in this inclusive society, we all need to speak like little Jimmy, the 6-year-old? This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And that was predatory as fuck. As fuck.
I've been thinking about how weird it is in America. We see American flags everywhere, and it's not like that in other countries. So I decided to count how many flags I see on my 8-minute drive from here, the bank, to Petco. To start, I already see 2. One's here at the bank, other one's at the cemetery across the street. It's behind the trees, but one at the car wash, one at Andy's, one at the bank, and Burger King. They got their own. Someone's house. And of course there's one at the church from literally the Jesus Camp documentary. That's where this happened, by the way. And this, one at Lion's Choice, one at Red Lobster, and one at the car wash. Big one right there. That was 12 flags in 8 minutes. And I know I missed some. Does that not seem weird?
No, you do. Short answer for that. You are seeing things where they are meant to be and being amazed that they are there. That's what you've just described. That's like me walking into the forest and saying, guys, have you noticed that when you're in the forest, there's lots of trees? Look, there's trees everywhere. Yeah, because you're in a fucking forest. If I went to Iran, I'd be amazed if I saw American flags everywhere. Right? But in America, I sort of expect to see American flags. Isn't that where they're meant to be? If you were going to go anywhere on earth and if somebody had a gun to your head and said, find me an American flag, I would pick America. The idiocy on display, these people, they think they've got a high IQ take, but they really don't. They're just, it's literally seeing the wood for the trees. It's literally what it is.
Doing to our children.
you doing, Messi? I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Governor Newsom?
Do you know what a detransitioner is? Do you know Chloe Cole? At the age of 15, she got her breasts removed and now regrets it because of gender affirmative care.
How are you?
How about the Lodi woman? At 13, she got her breasts removed. Gender affirmative care. No one stopped her. She was mentally unwell.
Yeah, I mean, I just had a...
You can't get a tattoo until you're 18. You can't vape until you're 18. You can't go in a tanning salon. But young girls and young boys can get their body parts removed. Talk to me. Our duty. I'm an attorney. I send you letters. Thousands of people I represent. Kids who haven't been affirmed don't commit suicide. Kids commit suicide 19 times more after having their body parts removed.
Governor, parents have legitimate concerns about their kids being able to medically transition at such a young age. What do you have to say to those parents? What do you have to say?
Ask a police.
Now that is exactly what we need to be doing. We just need to be calmly and civilly finding these people and engaging them in a conversation, right? Because if somebody won't answer a question, they are answering the question. Because you know that they don't want to tell you, you know, you can assume what they're going to say. If somebody won't tell you what's going on because they know that you already know, you've already caught them. Their refusal to answer is admission of guilt, and him just trying to brush it off like nothing's happening. Like, he knows what's going on, and we aren't making these things up. Like, these are, it's factual things. A lot of the stuff that I've spoke about on this channel about like where sex comes from and all this, like, it's not made up. Like, scientists have known this for a very, very long time. And if we can engage them and confront them like that and just let other people see that they actually don't have any answers to this, they're just pushing this for whatever reason, probably financial. And when you confront them, they can't answer you. That woman that was perfect. That was actually the perfect response. She was very calm. She was very articulate. She was precise with her points. And yeah, that was a beautiful example of how you can tackle this. Just ridicule them, make them look ridiculous, show them for what they truly are, fools.
Officer, question?
Sure, one moment.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Hi there. I was just looking to ask an officer a question. And then I got forwarded to you. Is there... I just want to make sure I'm not working outside of any laws or anything like that. If you want to be out in the street, you have to be fully clothed and you can't be naked or anything like that, right?
Well, I mean, there are naked people running around on the street.
Okay. But is that against the law?
That would be some mental health issues.
Oh, okay. I agree with you on that one. I'm having
cheeky little Freudian slip there.
Having a hard time. Yesterday, I seen a bunch of people naked in front of children and police officers, you know, seeing men with their penis out in front of kids, and I'm just wondering if that's acceptable.
Was that part of the Pride? You mean? Was that on the weekend?
Yeah, it was at the Pride Parade.
Yeah. So that's always the issue then each year.
Yeah. What's the issue with that? Sorry.
Well, I mean, that happens every year.
Oh, so like it's kind of like it's okay for when it's at the Pride Parade, but not in other situations, obviously.
Exactly. I would say so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Bye now.
A few days.
Again, another spectacular example of how you do this. You don't do all of the intolerant shit that they do. You just calmly pick them apart piece by piece. And that was another little piece that we have. So make that make sense, Mr. Police Officer. Like that police officer who was on that phone needs to be reprimanded for this, because he's basically saying, oh yeah, they're allowed to break the law. It's like that Family Guy scene where he's at the bars. Oh, you can't watch pornography at the bar. Oh, I'm transgender. Okay, do what you want. It's literally that. Like, it's madness. It's properly madness.
Days ago, I reported on a story out of Seattle where at a pride parade, there were naked people riding around on bikes in front of kids, completely naked. Now, I am a reporter and I'm a journalist, and I thought that the story was important to show people, so I shared it. Now, Brian is trying to remove that context and equate me reporting on the event to the actual event happening, which is obviously completely ridiculous. But you know what would have stopped me from reporting on the event? If it had never happened. But it did happen because this is apparently what's happening in our country now. And I feel that it is very important to share what is happening. The other interesting thing is that Brian claims that he is against nudity in front of kids. He says he's against naked people riding around on bikes in front of kids. So I'm obviously also against that, as is every single person I know and millions of Americans. But the difference is that I, unlike Brian Krasenstein, never ended up defending nudity in front of kids while simultaneously claiming that I'm against it. Never happened to me, never happened to anyone I know. So I'm just not sure how that happened to Brian, but it's just really funny how that works.
It's not funny how it works. I can explain exactly how this works, right? This is looking at the picture, not the pixel again. Are you ready for this? So people that are conservative typically tend to lean on facts and demonstrable evidence and proof. They need to have things proven to them that they'll work. They're very, very speculative, put it that way, right? Whereas people on the left, people that are really liberal, tend to agree on, tend to base their policies and stuff on how they feel, on people's emotional states and mental well-being and so on and so forth. There's a distinct problem with this system. It's mainly for the leftists that the problem occurs. So if you get 5 conservatives in a room, you can get them to agree on something based on the facts that you give them, right? So if you've got a 6th conservative that joins that room, if that 6th conservative comes in and their facts are incorrect, the existing 5 will stand their ground and tell the 6 that he's wrong and prove to the 6 how he's wrong. They'll say, right, so this is why you're wrong, and we can prove it to you. And then the 6th member joins that group because they understand that it's factually true, right? Whereas the left don't have any form of condemnation. Everybody's right at the same time, no matter how they feel. So you can have 2 opposing views that, according to the left, are completely correct. And that's what just happened there. It's cognitive dissonance. It's 2 opposing thoughts that are held with the same regard in their mind. You can't be against nudity in front of children and then show nudity to children. You can't do that. But because he doesn't have the ability as a leftist to condemn the actions of other leftists, because they can't all agree on the same thing. It's subjective. It's not objective. It's subjective to them. So you can't condemn them. So now they're in this flippy flappy position where everybody's right. Well, I say everybody's right. A lot of them are wrong, but they believe they're right.
The bone density concerns and fertility issues, again, we don't see these as things that are contraindications to treatment or something that really impedes treatment. We, just like we do with all, I think, medical things, is try to outline what we might be monitoring, risks, benefits, reversible, irreversible things, and really have a thoughtful conversation about things. From a true medical and study standpoint, I think Dr. Conran alluded to this a little bit. We haven't really seen the bone density data pan out to be a concern at all in really our trans masculine patients or non-binary masculine patients and our trans feminine patients. Potentially there's ongoing studies on pediatric patients. But like I was kind of alluding to before, we somewhat expect that when somebody is going to have more, their body's going to be more similar potentially to folks that we associate certain health risks for. We kind of are just putting people in different categories. So I don't know if that completely makes sense, but that's the way we frame the context of the conversation. And again, suicidality is a real thing. Not functioning in school is a real thing. We're really always taking into account what is happening for the individual in the room and how some of these interventions and affirming things we can do are going to help that person function better, while also knowing, the effects of treatment.
Did you notice the slip there? I've literally just said to you that the right will check each other using facts and reasoning, and the left will hold whatever emotion they hold on the highest regard to be true. Okay? So that woman there has just explained that when they do it to men, the men are okay, but when they do it to women, the women aren't, or vice versa. I can't tell which way it was because she said trans-masculine. So does that mean a masculine person who's transitioned or a person who's transitioned to be masculine? It doesn't fucking matter which one it was, because that was the key to the slip-up, right? If men and women are the exact same, right, which is just our mind, our gender, it's all in our head. If we're the exact same, why is there a split down gender? Why is there a split based on sex for how people respond to the surgeries and stuff? Why is one sex doing better than the other if we're the exact same? So the left is saying that men and women are the exact same, but they're not. All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Copyright strike, guaranteed.
Let me just say, first of all, those heels are higher than Connie's.
The Supreme Court.
Do you know when you just know that there's a certain category of entertainment that you just can't endure? So, for example, a really common one is like, I don't like gory movies. Like, don't get me wrong, the beach scene on Saving Private Ryan is fucking accurate, right? So I can get away with that. Even the guy with his arm, as gruesome as that is, I can get away with that because it makes you remember those brave men. But I can't watch like Saw or Hostel. Do you know, just pointless, unnecessary gore. I just can't watch it. And that falls into the same category. I just can't watch a young lad do that. I can't watch that because I know that he's being groomed and his parents have like forced him into positions where he's done that and they've raised him to do that. It's fucking awful. It's absolutely awful. But I'm just going to move on. I hope you enjoyed that visual bleach.
Court is obviously not here to work for the American people. The Supreme Court is not here to serve our democracy or our Constitution. The Supreme Court is here to serve oligarchs. They're here to serve billionaires. They're here to serve large corporations. They're here to serve white supremacy and white patriarchy and nativism. Their decision to strike down Joe Biden's student debt cancellation policy is strictly political, and it does exactly what we have all seen them doing over the last several months. They want to take away our civil rights. They want to take away our voting rights, our human rights, women's rights. They want to make our country more dangerous by expanding concealed carry permits. They don't want black people to be educated. That's why they banned universities' ability to use race in admissions decisions. They are taking lavish trips with billionaires and taking gifts from billionaires and allowing billionaires to pay their tuition to their children's schools. The Supreme Court is illegitimate. It is corrupt. It needs reform, expansion, ethics reform, term limits. And we need complete democracy reform at every level of government. But none of this happens if we don't have 100% of the American people voting in every single election next year. For president, for senate, for house, and all the local elections. We don't got time to complain and whine and stay home and say it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for you or us because we're all not exercising our power. This Supreme Court is an extremist right-wing court. Donald Trump selected 3 Supreme Court justices. Voting matters. Mitch McConnell did not allow President Obama to appoint someone to the Supreme Court. Voting matters. We do not have George Floyd justice in policing. We cannot codify Roe v. Wade. We can't do anything on gun reform because we do not have the right people in office. There are 33 Senate seats up for grabs. We need transformational legislative change in our country. We need a new constitutional convention that includes all people, women, people of color, LGBTQ, everyone, not just white patriarch oligarchs. You want to transform and change our country? We got to do it together starting right now. Save the country, save democracy, save the planet, save the world. That's the mission, and it's going to take all of us. Peace.
I completely agree with you that politics is completely fucking corrupted from the top down and it's all money. But your problem is you live in America and everything's about fucking race, right? Do you think that you're going to get white people on board by making white people the problem? I agree with everything you've just said about all politicians being corrupt. No matter which side you pick, there's always corruption, always backhanded deals, always having meetings and burning effigies and all that shit, right? That's all happening. But it's got nothing to do with white people. If a black man was rich enough, he'd be involved too. Corruption doesn't discriminate. Corruption just takes hold. Right, I'm completely with you. And you went through all the effort of getting a nice suit jacket and a shirt and stuff, and you didn't take the fucking gum out your mouth, and you want me to take you seriously? It sat there with gum hanging out your mouth. I was watching it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I agree with you. It's corrupt. My system in England is just as corrupt, if not more. Pick one that isn't. Show me a government that isn't corrupted, and I will call you a liar.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fabian Guzman. Everyone knows me as Fa. I use they, them pronouns. I am a non-binary individual. I am originally from Costa Rica. I'm also a person of color. Sorry, I'm also standing in the middle of the Chi Omega Theater here at Fayetteville in Arkansas. I'm doing an internship here. For the people who don't know, I am, or used to be, a Chi Omega member. I got initiated in the fall of 2022, so about a year ago. I was very active in my sorority. I was even recruitment chair by the time, and things were going really well. Here just to show you the theater. We're here. Yeah. About a month ago, I got notification that technically my membership was never allowed, and that I technically should have never been part of Chi Omega since the beginning. Even though before I rushed, and I did formal rush like any other PNM, before Rush, my chapter, Chi Omega Epsilon Kappa, was in contact directly with Nationals, and Nationals approved my rush. Not only that, my school was in contact with them, and they gave the green light to my school for allowing me to rush as a non-binary individual. Additionally to that, my school also reached out to Kappa Kappa Gamma, Tri Delta, and Kappa Delta Sigma, which is a local sorority in my campus at St. Lawrence University in Canton, New York. And I was able to rush. I rushed and I got a bid, and I had the best time with my sisters, because the reason why I joined Chi Omega was because they showed me what sisterhood is really about, and they also showed me that I could embrace my non-binariness, and it was a beautiful time. And then after that month ago that we got notice about that, and everything just changed. I went into mental distress. I actually missed my graduation because I was not feeling mentally stable to just stay. My family also wasn't able to make it to graduation last minute, and that really affected me as well. Now in Pride Month, when we should be really celebrating and feel proud, feel proud of who we are, I got an email from Chi Omega saying that they were going to void my memberships because they say that I no longer meet the requirements of membership. So just today, about an hour and a half ago, I had a meeting with headquarters and the part of my advisors and my personal board for my chapter, where they voided my membership, and I have no right to appeal whatsoever. They say that they have no power to change anything, but it's just hard. It's just really hard because I've given my heart and soul to this sorority because I love it. I love my sisters. I love my sisterhood. I love the chapter history. I love everything. I actually picked my internship in Arkansas to be able to come and visit the original chapter of my sorority. And now here I am for 2 months, not being able to really feel like I belong because I got kicked out of my sorority. Yeah. And I'm just recording this because I feel like this should not happen to anyone ever. And I also feel that non-binary and trans folks people deserve and should have the right to belong somewhere that they feel that they made a connection with. And they should have the right as any other cisgender person to join a Greek organization. And with this, I can just see how there's a reinforcement of the stereotypical style of how and who a sorority girl should be and how she should look like. And even now, I'm just using she, her pronouns. And who's saying that a sorority girl has to use she, her pronouns? Like, we have non-binary members that can use she, they, them. And I was one of them. And I feel extremely betrayed by my own sisters. And I just want to make a quick note that to my Epsilon Kappa family, I feel extremely grateful for all of you because all of you have stood by my side and have defended me with all your heart. And not only my chapter sisters, our advisors as well. And it's really sad to see that this is happening even more in Pride Month, even more. And I hope that my story is able to change things later on. I'm also aware of the Kappa Kappa Gamma lawsuit that is happening for accepting a transgender woman, which at this point, they have more rights than me in a sorority. But still, look at the struggle. Look at the struggle. We're not there yet, but the times have changed. The times have changed, and people like me, people like non-binary people and trans people deserve to be part of an organization where they feel they belong, regardless of how society wants to put them and how society wants to influence them to just be a specific type of woman or girl, you know. I feel extremely sad, disappointed, and my heart, it's broken. It's really broken. As of now, I'm not longer recruitment chair of Epsilon Kappa chapter. I'm no longer a Chi Omega sister. And I just wanted to jump on here and share a little bit of my story. Hopefully this can reach out to other people and we're able to make a change somehow. But yeah, I appreciate you listening all the way through. I know it's like almost 6 minutes, but thank you so much. Have a nice rest of your day and enjoy everyone Pride Month.
That's problematic!
Indeed it is, Rob. Indeed it is. There will be a second video. I always do a double video. That man has just been moaning and complaining that he got thrown out of a sorority, right? For women. So the first thing is, he's not even a woman. He doesn't even identify as a woman. He's non-binary. So you're non-binary, that means you're not a woman. So why would you go into a woman's space? If you're non-binary, you shouldn't be able to join a frat house or a sorority because frats is for boys and sororities is for girls. So if you're non-binary, according to your crazy leftist logic, you are neither. So you shouldn't be eligible for either. So you're complaining that people are accepting that you're non-binary. If like that's literally just what happened. People have said, right, well, you're non-binary, you're not a woman or a man, so you can't join it. You can't join this one or that one. And now you're moaning. Make it make fucking sense. And then he also said about how like a trans woman has got more rights than he does. Yeah, because the left dictate their policies based on who's feeling what. So your feelings don't matter. It's only the dominant group's feelings that matter. So you're gonna have to either start correcting each other or fall apart. Take your pick. But we'll be back with video 2. Won't be long. Are you ready? Straight back in.
I set up my classroom as best as I could, since we can't hang stuff on the walls and I don't have stuff to hang up academic stuff on the walls yet, but I like it so far.
You can be both. I'm both, actually. I am a trans woman and I have a cisgender girlfriend. We are in a lesbian relationship and we absolutely love each other. She says she supports me 100% and we're gonna get married soon.
So you're a man then, aren't you? Unless you only eat carpet. Unless you have not got a pork sword or a turkey truncheon to thwart her evil plans. Do you know what I mean? These people are mad. This is fucking mad. So if I transition to a woman, I would have to be a lesbian so that it matched my sexual orientation. But I'd be a lesbian with a dick. So I don't know many lesbians that like dicks. I wouldn't be a very successful lesbian.
Shawty came from Mexico, she know she got the sweet stuff. Shawty came from Mexico, she know she got the sweet stuff. Shawty came from Mexico, she know she got the sweet stuff. Shawty came from Mexico, she know she got the sweet stuff. Shawty came from Mexico, she know she got the sweet flag outside.
That was awful. That was absolutely awful. His lips look like a fucking wound, and I don't know what he's done to his ass, but this is the point we're at now. Where people have got such extreme body dysmorphia and such extreme views of themselves that they will put themselves under the knife and make them look like an extra from a fucking balloon show, right? And then parade scantily clad down a catwalk. And we have to get, oh yes, so strong and brave. I genuinely don't understand how the fuck we've fallen this far, this fast. Like, there must be something in the water that's making us retarded. There must be. Our IQ is plummeting.
At somebody's house, I just automatically assume you racist.
Almost definitely, but we felt that way for years. Like, I'm 51, and even as a kid we knew. It was understood. If there was an American flag at their house, they some racist ass white motherfuckers. That's just what it was. I thought everybody thought that, or knew that. It's funny to see that they're saying it now and it's like it's kind of new, but no. Yeah, been thinking about that, thought that forever.
If you're doing... Doesn't the White House have an American flag flying off it? Does that make Joe Biden a racist white motherfucker? Is that the logic that's being used? Anywhere there's an American flag. So Barack Obama was a racist piece of shit, apparently. Apparently, because he had the flag hung up. Like, I don't get it. Make it make sense. Your logic is flawed.
Doing gender neutral parenting, gender creative parenting, what do you do when your kid is old enough to ask, hey, am I a boy or a girl? You and me already talked about this in the comments, but I thought it might make an interesting video.
You tell them that they are a boy or a girl if they are a boy or a girl. It's that simple. If your kid comes up to you and says, am I a unicorn? You can safely say, nope, you're a homo sapien sapien. That's what you are.
Because there's probably a lot of people with this question. You don't even need to be doing this parenting method to want to have sort of a more open-minded way to answer that kind of a question from your kid. And my answer here is actually pretty simple. I would just turn it back into a question. Ooh, it's windy out here. I might say, well, how do you feel? Do you feel like a boy, a girl, or maybe something else? How do you think we might figure that out together? Are you asking about how do you look on the outside, or are you asking about how you feel on the inside? Maybe we should go read a book about this together. I have some ideas. Do you want to go sit down and take a look? Maybe I would share how I know my gender identity. It's a question that gives you an opportunity to have a conversation, and that's a beautiful thing.
I get so... It's all based about how you feel inside. So let's get all 200 million leftists in a fucking room, all of them, and try and get them all to agree on one point. One. Just one. Because they don't know when life begins. They don't know what a man is. They don't know what a woman is. They think that kink is okay. They're just mad. They are mentally unstable people.
So many comments like this, and I want to explain something. Being misgendered can be an incredibly painful experience. In that moment, we are reminded that the world places us into a bucket that we do not fit in. And it isn't...
No, you are reminded that the world doesn't give a fuck what you feel and it will keep turning regardlessly. That's what you're reminded of. You're reminded that your delusion isn't real. It's not palpable. Only you can feel it.
Incredibly traumatic to grow up being constantly told you're something you're not. So for a lot of people, being misgendered triggers that trauma. So if it looks like I'm mad, it's probably because I'm in a lot of pain. In the same way that when we stub our toe, we scream expletives because we're in pain.
No, it's a completely different thing. When you stub your toe, you get a nerve response telling your body that you might have just damaged something. So you get a pain response so that you don't do that stupid shit again. When you burn your hand, you get a pain response, and then you don't burn your hand again. So if you keep getting misgendered, maybe it's because people can't take you seriously. Stop hurting yourself. I'm not going to feel pity for someone who headbutts a wall and their forehead bleeds. Why would I pity that person? They did it to themselves. If you're parading around like that, talking like that, acting like a man, right, getting all hyped up, just because you can do a camp feminine voice doesn't make you a woman. Like, just because you can do that doesn't mean shit, right? And we're not going to take you seriously. You're doing this to yourself. If you stub your toe purposefully, expect pain, right? If you walk around expecting people to call you a man or call you a woman when you are clearly the opposite, expect them not to do it. Like, I don't understand it. There's an old cat saying, if you're going to eat fish, expect bones.
Also, us non-binary people were forced to educate ourselves on our own existence. So it can be frustrating when we see people who are not putting in the work and constantly making mistakes. And I know it is new. I know mistakes are bound to happen. And I have patience for people who are genuinely putting in the work. I know so many of you don't want to be hurting non-binary people, but the truth is when you misgender us, you are. And to expect us to hold your hand through it while we're being hurt, that's abusive behavior.
You're a camp man acting like a woman. You've got a fucking beard, dude. You've got stubble. Are you being serious right now? Are you being serious right now? You go and remove your penis, get your breasts done, get your forehead smashed up, your cheeks reshaped, your jawbone shaved right down, and make yourself look like a woman. Then maybe people will take you seriously. But doing a camp little voice and putting a wig on won't change it for you. It won't do it. You're just making a caricature of women, and it's pissing women off.
So we're visiting in
there's a lot of shit about the American flag going on. I don't know what's happening.
Upstate New York, near Poughkeepsie. Lots of farm country. Lots of American flags and Blue Lives Matter flags. And it was really making me uneasy. And then we came to this cute little town called Hudson. I guess it's a famous whaling town. And I see a lot of flags like this. Totally felt my nerves come at ease. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's interesting that you've gone to a place where they're flying the propaganda of the party that you're affiliated with or the party that you associate with the most. And now you're in that environment where those flags are being flown, that you know people around here share the same like-minded delusional views that you do, meaning you're going to meet less opposition. No, it's not interesting. It's blatantly fucking obvious, you buffoon.
I'm not even gay. I think that says a lot.
You don't need to be gay to be a crazy leftist, dude.
When the American flag freaks me the fuck out. And I see a few pride flags, and then I know I'm among nice people.
Precisely what I've just said. It's not nice people. It's people that you feel that you associate with better. People that share the similar views to you. Like-minded people.
Cool. Just saying.
I genuinely think that people don't realize how deeply microaggressions and misgendering affect trans people in like every facet of life. So here's the tiny example. I auditioned/interviewed for this film intensive, and one of the things I talked about in my interview was being a gender fluid actor and wanting to find affirmative spaces to tell queer narratives. One of the
Right, you can fuck right off. If you're going to tell me that I'm misgendering you, right, when you're gender fluid. If your gender can move, right, I'm not going to even fucking attempt it. Why would I attempt it? You can change the goal, but I can kick the ball, and then you can move the goal while the ball's in flight. And I'm never going to score. Why would I do this? Why would I do this to myself? I think the problem that you have is too many people around you, like I mentioned earlier, too many of your little leftist friends don't have a spine and tell you when you're making mistakes. You need people that care about you to tell you that you're fucking up. You need them to. If they, oh yeah, you good, Jimmy, you're going to say, watch this, and then splat one day because nobody told you that the bungee cord wasn't safe. Like, because people are just yes men. This is the result of it. You're a ruined man. You've ruined yourself. You're a gender fluid. That means that you're mentally confused, right? And you're a camp man. 50 years ago, you'd have probably been happy as a gay bloke, but look what they've done to you. Look what they've done to you. They're erasing homosexuality. Now you're not homosexual, you're just ambiguous.
administrators who has her pronouns in her email signature pushes me on to the final round with this email that misgenders me 3 different times. My pronouns are in my email signature.
See, they, them, theirs. You're not a group of people, my guy. You're one person. Pick he or she. Fucking pick one, right? Anything, like, you can be misgendered if you've got he or she, right? So if you're a guy and you choose she, somebody's misgendering you because you've chosen she. And then conversely, if you're a woman and you choose he, somebody's misgendering you if they call you he. If you are claiming to be if you're claiming to be a computer error or dial-up internet sounds, right? Or you're claiming to be a group of people,
You're not being misgendered. You're just mislanguaged. It doesn't even make sense. It's not coherent words. It doesn't make sense. There's no sentence structure. I'm talking about a person, right? So I would say he or she. Like, that's how it would be. Especially if it's a very specific context where you're only talking about one person. So for you, you're asking to be called them. Where's the rest of you? I can only see one. It doesn't make any sense. You're mentally ill. You're mentally ill. That's what it is. I'm just going to start saying it for what it is because I can't be arsed with all the bullshit, right? You're mentally ill. You're not well. Your brain doesn't match your biology, right? Your biology isn't the problem. Your brain isn't working correctly. It's that simple.
My Zoom name, my resume, my application, and on my film reel. So I respond cordially and I add this. Before I've even met anyone for this final interview, I've had to correct an administrator in front of her boss, and I've already had to be on the defense defending my own identity.
Or maybe lose the chest hair and the beard. Just saying. If you don't want to be called he, lose the beard and the chest hair. That long hair clearly isn't doing it for you.
This just creates an awkward power dynamic that could have been completely avoided. And depending on this person's response, it can either be a non-issue or it puts me at a major disadvantage. This is something cis people just do not deal with.
Because we aren't making all this fucking fuss that you are. You're creating all of these problems. Basically, what you're saying is all of these problems could have been avoided if they'd have just listened to you and done what you said. So if you dictate what's going on and everything would have been fine, but because your diktat couldn't be put through, you're going to have to kick up a stink and you're being misgendered. No, my guy, it's not all about you. Me. It's not all about you. It's just not.
And it's also really easy to get someone's pronouns right, especially when you're typing them out.
I'm literally on fire right now. I just got off the phone with my wife, who took my 9 and 7-year-old boys to the doctor today to get physicals for tackle football and school next year and all that other shit.
Yeah.
My 9-year-old son went in first, and the first thing this woman asks him is if he identifies as a boy, a girl, gender fluid, or non-binary. My son, he's never heard of any of that shit before. You've been dealing with him your whole life. He is clearly a boy's boy. So what are you, trying to plant a fucking seed in his head?
Yep.
The only thing I could be thankful for is that my wife took them instead of me.
Yeah.
And props to my wife because she said something. And if she didn't, they would have asked my 7-year-old son the same damn question. This shit is ridiculous. And to the people out there to think that there's nothing wrong with that and I'm just a transphobe or all that shit, you're fucked up. This is bullshit. And there's something wrong with you.
Preach.
One thing.
Preach. I'm going to be that guy in a few years' time, hopefully. I'll be mid-40s. What's this? It'll be 10 years' time, I'll be 41. I'll have a couple of kids. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if Allah permits it. So, yeah, I agree with him. I would want my wife to be there because I'd have some choice words that also my son probably won't have heard before in front of that nurse or doctor. Jesus, yeah. Ooh.
That is very new is genital surgery in someone that has underwent pubertal suppression. Not so much an issue in someone with assigned female at birth anatomy.
Why does he talk like that and have pink hair? Let's have a look, shall we?
That undergoes a phalloplasty because we're creating something with a free tissue transfer, a flap anyway. But a much bigger issue for an individual that's undergoing a penile inversion vaginoplasty because we use all of that tissue to basically create the vulva as well as line the internal vaginal canal. And as a specialty, those of us that do a fairly high volume of genital gender affirming surgery, we've maybe done a handful of pubertally suppressed adolescents as a field and no one's published on it yet. OHSU we're just putting our first series together as we're kind of learning and figuring out what works.
So they're experimenting on fucking children.
It's really changing things because you don't have enough tissue to line the vaginal canal. So you either have to take a skin graft or take skin from elsewhere or use some artificial product. The way that we're dealing with it is by using a robot. and we're basically performing intra-abdominal components of the surgery. So we're using peritoneum, which is the inner lining of the abdomen, to line most of the vaginal canal.
They're just taking chunks of people, and in true Frankensteinian style, they're taking chunks of people and stitching them back together to make pseudo parts. Jesus, man. I mean, I can understand if it's like a restorative surgery, like if you need a skin graft off your leg because you've got like a severe burn on your face or something. I can understand the restorative side of it, but that is straight up mutilation. You're removing healthy organs, you're removing other healthy parts as a sacrifice to make your mutilation more successful. Fucking out, sickens me that. What's this? Is this Rob is right? Joined threads. In under an hour, I've been told to kill myself, had death wished on me, was called a fascist, a Nazi, a terrorist, and had people plotting on how to permanently ban me. This is the kind and tolerant left. Well, these are the same people that we saw hurling bricks at the start of the video. They're not tolerant at all. This is the thing. I can't wait for their intolerance to be turned on itself, and the left's going to blow itself apart. Because you can't say that you're a woman and say that women and men are the same thing, and then say that men and women aren't the same thing, and say you're not, like... It's all over the shop. It's made for fascists like you. Oh, the irony. Jesus. Why is this libs a TikTok, not Rob? Either way. Eat shit, chat, yeah. Yeah, it's libs a TikTok. Yep. These are the tolerant people. These are the people that are nice, and none of them have got any... Like, there's nothing constructive to say. That's another thing I've noticed. I'll see people will dislike my videos every now and then, but they never comment why they dislike it. I think it's because that they know that they've got no good points to make. They're just disliking it out of, like, hatred. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's fair enough, but at least try and articulate why you don't like it. You're not welcome here. Fucking hell, this is a long list. This is going. Nazi, as if... How is she a Nazi? I don't get it. I really don't get it. For wanting to protect kids. For wanting to protect kids makes you a Nazi, does it? Fucked up. Well, the thing that really gets me annoyed about this entire thing is, like, Nazis were fucking evil, man. Like, the Nazis were some really bad people, like, especially the high-ranking ones, the ones that knew what was going on and kept it going. Them fuckers. They were some really fucked up humans, man. And we've diluted it down. Nazi doesn't mean anything now. Now, if someone called me a Nazi, I'd probably laugh it off. Whereas before, like a decade ago, I might have actually had a bit of, I might have felt some type of way about it. Like now, if someone calls me a transphobe, I'd just fucking laugh it off. You're comical. If you think I'm scared of trans people or I hate trans people, you are fucking comical. You don't have a clue what you're talking about. When was the last time you were inside my head? Never, so you don't know what I'm thinking. Shut the fuck up and leave. Don't I'm saying. But, yeah, I don't get it. They've diluted it right down. They've diluted it down to such an extent that the word doesn't mean anything anymore. It really doesn't. It's like heating up a baton. It's just floppy now. It's just it doesn't really do much.
Be able to lactate. And today, my doctor, after my EKG results, said that she's feeling confident enough to start me on this medication, Reglan. And
I've always wanted to lactate. See, it wasn't even I wanted to have babies. I wanted to be a mother. I always wanted to lactate. This is some fucked up fetishistic stuff, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. I wanted to lactate. What sort of want is that? That kind of want has prerequisites. Like, I want to get pregnant. I want to carry the baby to term. I want to breastfeed. I want to lactate. That is the normal process to get there. No man has never jumped off a bench press and thought, yeah, do you know what? I want to lactate. This is fucked up, man.
It has some serious side effects, but I'm only going to be taking it for 2 weeks, up to 3 weeks possible. So within 2 weeks, I should be lactating. The rest is on me. I'm going to have to pump and keep a supply. This is the tough part. I have one pump. I need 2 pumps. And the amount of lactation, the amount of pumping that I have to do to lactate is going to require a better pump than what I got. I mean, I have electric pump, but I need the 2 of them, and I need them where they're more compact. And I'm going to start a GoFundMe. I need some help. Or if anybody's got one, they want to donate, please put it in the comment. I need a good one. One that links up to the phone where it's more discreet, because I'm going to have to pump a lot. And that means I'm going to be running around out on the streets pumping too. This is something I want to do. I would love to help a family, you know, that can't breastfeed. And
So you're one of these weird motherfuckers that likes to come on people's tits. You just like to see it there. I've never understood the cum shot. Never understood it. What a waste of ejaculate. Right? Never understood it. Just shoot it somewhere to get rid of it. There's no point in making a mess to then clean it up. What the fuck is wrong with you? Right? You get off. You must get off on seeing the splooge on the love pillows. You must get off on seeing that. And that's what this is. This dude doesn't just want to pump. He wants to sit there and go, oh, they drank it. Oh, they drank my milk. Oh. And he wants to feel some fucked up kind of way about it. This is fetishistic. It is. I don't care what nobody says. A man that is willing to put himself through surgery so that he can pump his breasts and ensure a baby gets it. That's some fucked up stuff. Welcome to 2023.
does want the milk and has the option to have transgender milk. Let's hope that I produce enough. That depends on, I guess, on how much I eat and all of this other stuff. I've done quite a bit of my own homework. I will be getting with a lactation coach and going from there. And I will be documenting all this stuff. So as soon as I get my GoFundMe set up, I will be posting it in my little section. And you can hit on the link and then just, help me out. But yeah, if someone could just get me the pump, that'd be even better. Or else I'm going to have to try to save and do what I can with one pump, but I will do whatever it takes. But I will document all of this. We've done the homework. There's nothing. There's no doctors, nothing that has any experience with a transgender wanting to lactate. I am a pioneer at this. And I'm going to document it and share my experience with you guys. So, follow me. All my videos from now on are going to be about me and my lactation. Okay? I just wanted to share that with you guys. Oh my God, I'm jumping down, up and down inside. I love you guys. Stay tuned.
That's problematic!
Indeed it is, Rob. Indeed it is. That is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. How he sees himself as a pioneer is beyond me, right? And I'll end this with some business advice for Sammy Pickles or whatever that person was called, right? Start an OnlyFans and use your little shitty pump that you've got now and pump those little pancakes dry, and there'll be some weirdos out there who will gladly pay you money hand over fist to see you pump your little pillows. And then, tell you what, you might even be able to sell them wrong uns, some of the milk, and then you can use that money to buy a bigger pump and pump more, and then there's your OnlyFans empire. Yeah. Peace.